The Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Reaper Apparel Company. Reaper Apparel offers a casual line of superb fit, finish, and comfort. We design for those who refuse to die slowly and choose to live untamed. For those who aren't afraid to face the dark, for the ones that thrive in it, and for those who can appreciate life through a grim lens. That's Reaper Apparel Company. Go to the link in the description of this episode, use the promo code Mike Bono, and get 10% off. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by my own personal merch store, the Stupid Should Hurt merch store. I have hats, I have t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, water bottles, notebooks, you name it, I've got it. The description and the link for that will be in the description of this episode. Also, right now, if you use the promo code WELCOME, I will give you 5% off of your first purchase. That's the Stupid Should Hurt merch store. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Tactical Brotherhood, all American-made apparel, which helps support the Second Amendment. You can also find all this in the description of this episode with the link, Tactical Brotherhood. Part of every proceed does go to helping veterans, as it is a very good cause. All American-made products made right here in Minnesota. Go and check them out. Use the promo code PATRIOT15 to get 15% off your purchase. Now, let's start the show. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Ride Home Rants podcast. This is, as always, your host, Mike Bono. I have a great episode for us this week, but first and foremost, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by my own personal merch store, the Stupid Should Hurt merch store. I have hats, I have hoodies, t-shirts, bookcases, computer cases, coffee mugs, you name it, I got it. The link for that will be in the description of this episode. If you come in and use the promo code WELCOME, I will give you 5% off of your first purchase. That is the Stupid Should Hurt merch store. And again, the promo code WELCOME. That'll get you 5% off of your first purchase. That being said, my guest today is a former Bethany College football player. He is currently still a student, but he is also a fitness nut and a model too as well. Michael Maradeo joins the show. Michael, thanks for being on, buddy.
What's up? Thank you for having me here today.
Hey, not a problem. So, first and foremost, I got to know, you were, like I said, a former football player at Bethany College, my old stomping grounds, but you kind of went in the recruiting process in the pandemic year. So, take me through what it was like being recruited to college during the pandemic.
Well, during the time when I was being recruited, I didn't really believe in COVID at the time, but in reality, it was a thing. And the coaches were always making sure before we were coming in that we had to get our vaccine or whatever they wanted us to do, the testing and whatnot. And when I went to Bethany, when I was planning to go to Bethany, Fitty, one of the coaches, former coaches there, he was kind of recruiting me at the time. And I was unsure about going. It was either Bethany or some college. I majored in college. But Fitty kind of talked to me and said everything was going to be good over there and that it would be a new life and whatnot. And so he kind of drove me to the point to want to go. But in the process, when I went there, we had to do testing like 4 times a week to get tested for COVID and make sure we didn't have anything. So then we had like a half schedule when we went over there and everything.
Yeah, I know it. I'm like you. When COVID first started, I was like, this isn't real. This isn't a thing. Like, this isn't going to be anything. Well, 2 years later, here we are. You know what I mean? So
we're still dealing with that pandemic that people call the flu, I guess. Whatever you want to call it.
Right. Everyone has their own beliefs and everything like that. It is what it is. I guess when they said 2 weeks to shorten the curve, I think they misspoke. It was 2 years to shorten the curve because that's where we're at now.
I never know what's going on with it.
Yeah, and you mentioned him, and I'm kind of glad you did because Fitty told me he talked to you a lot during the recruiting process.
Okay, definitely.
So that tells me you have to have a good Johnny Fitty Falcone story for sure, and what that was like as him as a coach.
I mean, I was always bothering him. I don't know if he probably doesn't like me. He probably is definitely annoyed. Like every single day, I sent him a text asking him questions about either football, school, help with whatever I needed help with. About every day, but he always came through. He always came through as a coach.
That's Johnny for sure. I've known him. We went to Bethany together and everything like that. So Johnny's the real deal. But yeah, I don't think he minds the text because it's to the point now. Like when my phone dings, if my wife's there, she's like, "Is that Fitty?" Like she knows. Like it's Fitty.
That's the only other person you're talking to these days.
Pretty much. I don't talk to a lot of people. Like it's my manager for my comedy, my wife, and then the manager for the podcast, and that's Johnny. So it's one of three people, and she's one of them. So she knows by process of elimination, it's one of my managers. That's what it is.
Exactly.
So it's crazy, but he's definitely. Is a talker. We'll say that. Like I wish I had a quarter of his energy.
I saw him out there screaming, out there on the field and whatnot. And little did I know, he knew how to throw a football too. He launched one at me. I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah. He's got that like sneaky athleticism, you know what I mean? Like you
wouldn't expect. It looks like one of those like toothpick guys that would never play football or coach. I mean, I didn't think that.
I can't say much. I'm kind of the same build as Johnny, that toothpick kind of guy. But I was a swimmer though. You know, I swam. Like so that I got that swimmer's frame. Is what I got.
Yeah, he could catch better. He could throw better than me. So I have no room to talk.
Yeah. Love Johnny to death. So, fast forward now, you know, you're recruited, you're at Bethany. So, what was it like for spring ball? Because I know that's not a big thing, you know, in D3 college, you know, that spring ball season. So, what was the 2021 spring season like for you guys?
I mean, it was really on and off just because of the COVID. And games would be canceled if someone had caught COVID. And so I saw the field a few times, but one of my roommates got COVID, so it put me out for 2 weeks. So I missed like 2 weeks, and then eventually I was playing. I just started a new position, so I wasn't really that great on the field at the time in spring. And I kind of learned like over spring ball, it was kind of more serious. Even a lot of kids, they didn't seem like they knew what they were doing, honestly.
It's a spring ball mentality. Football's not supposed to be played in the spring.
I've never seen snow in my life when I was over there. I just kind of had to suck it up and start running in the snow. And I'm from Florida, so obviously in the snow, cold, it doesn't go well for us.
I was gonna say that was gonna be my next question for you because I knew you were from Florida. So what was the transition like from Florida to the wonderful state where I grew up in West Virginia?
I mean, honestly, Florida is great and all. It's beautiful, but I think it was time for a change. I kind of got tired of all this heat, all the nonsense that goes on here with all these people in Florida, and kind of like realizing that everyone in West Virginia seemed more welcoming, or like the neighbor states. And then the cold, I honestly started to love it. I feel like I would definitely go back if I could.
See, you got...
Sound crazy. Who wants to go back to West Virginia?
No, you're right. You're right. I grew up there. I live in Ohio now. I don't want to go back to West Virginia unless I have to. You know what I mean? So that's so I get it. But what I'm recording. Excuse me.
I don't care.
My son.
Bye.
Love you. He's going on a trip to Philadelphia tomorrow for school for a couple of days. So I'm going to be gone at work by the time he gets up and leaves. So good night, bub. All right. So, yeah, that's the wonderful dad life. That's what it is. But, yeah, so what the hell was I talking about before my son came in? And Oh, West Virginia. Yeah.
Yeah, West Virginia.
But I have an aunt who lives in Naples, Naples, Florida, and she used to come up Thanksgiving, Christmas time, all the time. But now she's like, you know what? I think you guys are going to be a summer vacation. I'm going to come up in the summer and the warm times of the year. I can't do the cold anymore. I was like, you grew up here. Like, how do you not? How are you not used to the cold?
I don't. They kind of just. I see it all the time here in Florida. You got all the winter birds, and I live right in prime spot, like Palm Beach, Florida, where they all want to come here. All the freaking winter birds want to come here and crowd all the roads, and they want to complain that it's still too hot. I mean, I don't know if it's ever perfect for people.
I mean, I feel like no matter where you live, you're not going to like the weather. I mean, you'll have something. You'll have something.
There's a love-hate relationship with it.
Absolutely. Because I still remember making fun of my aunt. She came up in the summer, and it was a cooler day for a summer. I mean, it was 72, so I mean, it wasn't like cold by any means. And she had like on a hoodie and sweatpants. I'm just like, what are you doing? She's like, it's chilly. I was like, I'm in no shirt and shorts. What do you mean it's chilly? I'm sweating. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I can relate with my dad. Every time it would get cold in Florida, it's like 65 degrees. He has to turn on the heater in the house. And I'm dying. I had to just go in my car and turn on my AC because I'm not going to sit there.
No, yeah, 65 is not heater weather at all. Anyways, off track talking about the states and everything like that and the differences. But so after you leave Bethany, you transferred out. I know that. And you ended up at a community college. So what are you getting your degree in, and what are the next steps for you with schooling and then your future careers?
Well, I ended up leaving Bethany because of an injury, and I wasn't going to, in my eyes, why stay in West Virginia if I'm not going to play football? And I ended up leaving Bethany because of that. So then I went off trying to go to Flagler College in St. Augustine. That didn't work out because of money, and I couldn't get the money for it. So then I went off to Palm Beach State College to finish my AA so I can transfer to a bigger university instead of even Flagler College, because why not try to go bigger?
Right.
And so with that, now I'm almost finishing up with my AA in my junior year because when I transferred from a private college, it all was different. So I'm working on as a double major psychology and criminology now. And then I got accepted at Florida State University, so I'm planning on going there to pursue my bachelor's, eventually my master's, and my doctorate, because I 100% want to go be a forensic psychologist for the FBI.
That is phenomenal. That and the one time like that my wife isn't around, she is obsessed with forensic psychology and especially like what you're wanting to do. She's obsessed with it. Like she wants to know how the human brain works. And I think like every wife and every woman, she's obsessed with serial killers. Like that's just, she wants to know how
they love those things for some odd reason. But they can get to know you. They can get to know you as a husband, so they know like what your process is.
It's been 6 years. She's still trying to solve this puzzle here. It changes every day, but she asks me all the time because like she has this big book and it's probably 5-6 inches thick and it's just a serial killer book. It's about all of them. She's like, does it bother you that that's sitting on my nightstand next to the bed? I was like, it's been 6 years. I'm just kind of used to it at this point in time. It's you, honey.
So she knows all of them. I mean, that's the cool part about that. What I really liked about it was how I kind of to break down the human brain, and especially like why did a serial killer kill somebody, or what was their motive the whole time. I think that's what really made me want to know, and it could help me out in the real world with the people.
Yeah, we actually, because during the pandemic when the world was shut down and everything, we had to find something to do. So we started binge watching Criminal Minds like over again. And we had to stop watching it because it made us so paranoid as, like, just normal people. Like, because when things started to open up and I'm picking my son up from football practice and everything like that, people would be walking past my truck and I was like, well, who's this unsub now? Like, what's his... Like, it made me think. I was like, I don't like to think when I'm watching TV.
It makes you think. I feel like, especially at night, like, when you're out at night, you just finished watching something, then you go out and then there's someone, like... Just say like a homeless guy just walking up next to your car. You're like, you're just getting ready to prep yourself for them.
Absolutely.
You never know. You got to be aware.
Yeah, it's crazy to me that just how their mind works and everything like that. And she's obsessed with it, and for sure, he's going to school. She just walked in to be a forensic psychologist for the FBI. So she just went, oh, like she's see. I told you, like she's obsessed with this.
When we were younger, that wasn't a major.
Yeah.
We had to have 3 majors rolled into one, which equaled 20 years.
Yeah. If you heard all that, I mean, it wasn't off when me and her were in school. It wasn't offered as like a major. It was like 5 or 6 majors that you had to be, and then it took like 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, still to this day, I mean, there's only like 2 colleges, I believe, in the United States that offer forensic psychology. That's why I'm doing the double major. And then I might transfer off for my doctorate or my master's to Arizona State University, so I can specialize just in that bird.
I just laughed because she just went, oh, I'm so jealous. Like but that's her. That's Mrs. Bonaventura for you guys. That's just what it is. So, changing gears a little bit. So, I mean, that's awesome, everything you want to do and all that. So, how did you get into, the fitness world now where you're at now and modeling and becoming a social media influencer with everything like that?
So, fitness, I mean, I kind of started when I was in high school, and I always was lifting, and I was kind of strong at the time and pretty big for high school, I suppose. That's what people said. And as I got older, and then especially when I came back from Bethany, I kind of took lifting and fitness to the next level. And one day I was just kind of bored, and I just started doing these motivational quote things on my Instagram reels. And that's what started really blowing up. And from there, I just started getting more followers one after another. And then what kind of started the modeling was I've always been like a country guy, but I never released it, never told anybody that I loved country. So I was like, why not just go buy some boots and actually wear it as a lifestyle and show out my true colors? And I did that. And I went and did a photo shoot of myself to put on my own page. And from there, that's when some companies noticed it, and they asked me to model for their page, like Manscaped. They're the number one I've modeled on their page for some underwear. And then Man Sports is my second sponsor for just supplements.
That's awesome. I mean, honestly, that you just started basically doing that by yourself. I mean, there's so many people that, get into it for, I think, the wrong reasons and change themselves. You, I guess, changed yourself, but you changed yourself back to who you originally were. You know what I mean? Like, showing who you actually are.
There was a lot of stuff, that I had to go through little loops, the times at home were hard, and kind of just being in the gym. I mean, I guess a lot of people say it's a therapy. And when I don't go to the gym, I just feel like I messed up, even because I tell myself I don't want to work out, and then I'll just go back to the gym just because why not? And there's just no reason to be in the gym sometimes, and I'll still go in there 7 days a week, 6 days a week. Now I have to kind of punish myself and do 4 days.
That was actually going to bring me to my next question. How do you balance, your fitness routines, studying for school, and then everything with the modeling? How do you, and at being at such a young age too as well, how do you balance all of that?
I mean, I had to learn. I mean, I always listened to a lot of the older crowd, and I always looked up to them and took their wisdom and kind of took everyone's and put it into one big one brain cell. And when I did that, it kind of helped me realize how to break up my time and where to put what. So what I do in the mornings, I typically go to work in the morning, 8 to 5, but that's the reason why I do college online right now, so I can transfer. So I do that online, and I just kind of do my homework when I get out of the gym. Sometimes I have to push the gym back just to do homework in case there's a big load. And social media, I'll just pick a day on the weekend and just make loads and loads of videos for a week or two. So when you're doing your videos, that's basically one day
of the shooting,
It's like
and then and then you post them throughout the weeks or whatever.
Yeah, I just had to have like 30 outfits in my garden.
So you always look like you're moving because you always have like just.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, my car is full. It has my drone in it, my camera. I'm always ready wherever I have to go. So
with the social media stuff, is it just like whatever comes to you? Like if you're just like driving down the road and you get an idea for something, will you pull off and do a video right there, or will you wait, or like?
So when it comes to my Instagram, it's more of my lifting page where I like kind of do all my quotes. Sometimes I'll throw in I call myself the South Beach Cowboy. Some people don't like it. I'll explain that.
Okay.
So now sometimes I put my quotes on the South Beach Cowboy videos. So with my South Beach Cowboy ones, I'll pull off to the side. If I see somewhere I want to go make that video, it's typically just me walking in a straight line. And that right there, it's just kind of like a cougar grabber. It's like all the cougars like watching my videos on TikTok.
Okay.
That's what I grab.
Okay, so South Beach Cowboy, you mentioned it. I gotta know how did you come up with that name?
And that's when the modeling happened. And it's when I did the photo shoot. I asked my brother, and he was kind of like not up for it because it was very like kind of just a really really hot looking picture thing for whatever. And he did it, and I said, "Hey, bro, just record me walking." And I just recorded myself walking, and I posted it on one of my TikToks, and all of a sudden it blew up just for walking. And I was like, that's weird. And I kind of got my followings. I got to like 6,000 followers in a week. And then they banned me for inappropriate content because every single day I kept posting more and more walking videos. And that's really all it is. And I had to come up with a name. So I wanted to have cowboy in it because I'm from South Florida, South Beach Cowboy. That all makes sense.
I guess that does make sense, when you break it down like that. But yeah,
some people they want to get on me because we don't have horses down, near the beach. But technically, when I tell them we do because they're seahorses, like little ones in the water, and then we have manatees, which are cows. So people can't really argue with that.
Strong argument, I guess, for that, but. I definitely understand the TikTok with the bannings and everything like that. I don't know. I've been banned from TikTok Live. I don't know how many times.
Oh, they love to ban people on that. I was driving. They want to ban me for suicidal things because I'm driving.
Yep. I had that one the first time, like when I first hit like 1,000 followers and I could go live. I was like, let's check this out. And, the show is the Ride Home Rants. So I was like, I'll just do a live one on TikTok and I'll just drive and I'll get my rants. And they banned me for like dangerous behavior, I think is what it was or whatever. And then the most recent one, which really just irritated me to no end, it was I just purchased a fixer-upper house. I was working on the house. I was like, I see people do this all the time. I'll go on TikTok Live. I'll just talk to people while I'm working and stripping wallpaper and all this other stuff. And wasn't on 10 minutes, and they banned me for like a week for hateful behavior.
Hateful behavior.
I was like, okay, ridiculous. So you mean to tell me you're gonna ban me for showing myself working hard at something? I guess that's hateful behavior.
It's not given to you. They don't believe in that.
My wife just goes, it's not given to you. They don't believe in that. So. Yeah, the guidelines there, I don't understand. I mean, I still do it. I still make my stupid videos all the time.
Yeah, to stick to the videos. I feel like the live is what really is going to get me banned because that's how it originally happened. I was live doing a hot sauce challenge, and then it turned into a dance contest, and that got too inappropriate, I suppose.
Yeah, they banned me. I was streaming one of my shows live to TikTok because I had a bunch of people that couldn't make it. First show I was producing and putting on myself and hosting, and I don't know what it was. They let me go. I had 5 comics on the slate. Like they got to the next to last person. This was a 2-hour show. They got to the next to last person and then banned me for like a month for like inappropriate language. It was like, I scheduled this and you approved it. It was a comedy show. Like, what do you think you're gonna hear?
Wow.
Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
it's
just picky.
it's not all sunshine and rainbows at these shows. And I'm known as the angry white comic. Like, what did you think you were gonna hear? Like, but all right, Michael, we are running down near the end of the episode here, but I got to get this in because if I don't, Fitty will kill me. But that is the Fast Fitty 5 for the new listeners out there. This is 5 random questions from the wonderful manager of the podcast, Johnny Fitty Falcone. These are kind of rapid fire, but you can elaborate if you need to. And Michael, he sent me these like 10 minutes ago, like before we started recording. So we'll be reading these for the first time together. So if you're ready, man, we'll get started.
I'm ready whenever.
All right. Question number 1. Who's a better country artist, Jason Aldean or Luke Combs?
Jason Aldean, for sure.
Jason Aldean. I'm not mad at that, but
I mean, they're both great. They're both great because I listen to them all the time.
Yeah, I had a Jason Aldean phase in high school. Everyone said I had the little goatee that he has on his chin, and that was it. And everyone told me I looked like him. I don't know. I don't at all, but I get it.
5 foot nothing. You are 6'5".
I know how tall he is. Okay. My wife goes, he is 5 foot nothing. You are 6'5". You look nothing alike. So I get it. All right. Question number 2. Would you rather have no smell or no taste?
Both.
No smell.
No smell. I can agree with that.
I just need to taste my food. There's too many bad smells out there.
100%. Number 3. Excuse me. Number 3. If you could play college football for either Hawaii and be a 4-year starter or Alabama and be a 4-year backup, which would you pick?
I feel like I would go to Alabama just because the name, and it would probably boost me up a little bit more, even though if I'm riding the bench. I don't care.
Right. You're going to get a ring regardless. A couple of rings probably.
Exactly. I'll have a ring, cost some money, get all the chicks.
There you go.
You never know.
All right. Question number 4. Who's a better actor, Dwayne Johnson or Vin Diesel?
Dwayne Johnson.
Okay. All right. And last question. What's the best town in Florida?
Best town. I haven't been to many towns. I mean, unless Florida, there's not many towns there. I mean, the only town I've really been in is Bethany. I want to go say Bethany. Bethany is like the only town I lived in, if that's considered a town.
Yeah, it is. All right.
So I don't know many towns.
In Florida? What about in Florida?
In Florida? It's Florida. I don't know. It's not a town. I guess I would say Boca because I love Boca. That's where I was raised. It's like a city-ish.
Yeah, we'll take it. Yeah, it's a city, town. It is what it is. But that was the Fast Fitty 5. And like I said, he sends me these. Those were pretty mild, I will say, compared to some of the ones I've gotten in the past. Like, it's the weirdest ones. If you've talked to Fitty for more than 10 minutes, you know how his mind works. Or
he'll come up with some random stuff.
And he sends me these like right before we're gonna jump on to record. So I think he like doesn't want to give me time and wants to see if he can make me laugh during the questions. Like I feel like if he can make the comedian laugh, like he's done his job. Like I think that's where his mindset is with these. But all right, Michael, like I said, we are running down near the end of the show. I give every guest this opportunity. So I'm going to give you about a minute. Anything you want to promote, anything you want to get out there, whether it's just a good message or anything like that. Like I said, I'm going to give you a minute. The floor is yours, my man.
Well, obviously, I got to thank Mike Bono. I probably said that wrong, obviously.
Got it right.
We all know
you got it right.
Well, for one of my biggest sponsors, Man Sports, they would probably love me to go out here and thank them for everything. Make sure to check them out on my page. I have a snip feed inside my link where you can go use my code. It's Gorilla X. Manscaped, the same thing for them. Also, great thanks to Fitty for helping me get on this show, podcast, and letting me express myself, I suppose, for the first time to this world.
Hey, Not a problem at all, man. It was a pleasure talking to you, for sure. Loved it. Everybody out there, go check this man out on Instagram if you're not already one of his hundreds of thousands of followers that are on there. It's phenomenal. I will put his tag in the description of this episode and everything else to where you can get any of his stuff from one of his wonderful sponsors. That is going to do it for me. And Michael, thank you again for being on the show. We really do appreciate it. As always, if you enjoyed the show, be a friend, tell a friend. If you didn't, tell them anyways. They might like it just because you didn't. That is going to do it for me, and I will see y'all next week. The Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by W Energy. Energy drinks made for gamers, streamers, and podcasters alike. For gamers, streamers, and podcasters alike. Go to the link in the description where you can find the best energy drinks out there. Less caffeine than a cup of coffee. Also, no jitters and no crash afterwards. Use the promo code Mike Bono and get yourself 10% off. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by my favorite sponsor of the show, and that is Shankit Golf. Golf apparel made for the everyday golfer. We might not go out and shoot a 6 under par. We're probably going to shoot a 6 over par, but this is going to give us the gear that's going to help us rocket on and off of the course. Go to the link in the bio, use the promo code Mike Bono, and get yourself 10% off there as well.